Brian, given the way you had so many guys from big schools step in immediately for you last year, and given your salary cap situation, what you're going to have to do there, is this another draft where you'll probably be looking at guys, maybe not necessarily from big schools, but who can step in right away?
I don't know if we'll specifically target that. I think certainly that's the idea. I mean, you love for guys to come in and play right away, but there's always some guys, whether it be from small schools or even from big schools, that have maybe a little bit more development. And we've taken some of those guys in the past, and we won't shy away from that because of this year.
Brian, special teams was a topic here in the conversation. After the playoffs, is that something you're looking at specifically?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that didn't go the way we wanted it to go throughout the year. So that's something we were focused on it last year. We did a lot of different things last year. Didn't get the results we wanted, so we're going to have to continue to kind of focus on that and keep chopping wood.
Brian, what are you having with news regarding him? And there's one thing in the story,
Yeah, there's no new updates, but I do think, specifically with Aaron, I think he's got a very, tough process that he goes through to get himself ready to play every season. It's a big commitment, and he's done that for a long time, and it certainly shows in the results. And I think he feels he needs to do that to play the way at the level he plays at, and so I know that weighs on him, but I think he's going through that now.
Brian, do you have the financials worked out with him to where if he's going to come back, that's already done, or is that part of the process?
Yeah, it's part of the process. It's and I know Russ obviously does a good job, and he's kind of prepared for kind of any which way we might go.
What are your thoughts on heading to London?
In some ways, there's some unique challenges that we haven't had. It's the first time I think we'll go over there and ever, and but at the same time, I know for our fans, it's going to be pretty exciting. I know everybody's pretty fired up about it. I got a lot of texts when the news came out, and everybody's making plans. So, Packer Nation will be, I think, show up strong. And we're going to obviously just get the beginning parts of working through the logistics of that, and we'll see what week it falls on and things like that. So, I think our first thought was, okay, how we can do this best for our football team to play. But I know that, family members and all kinds of fans and stuff have been reaching out. So. Mm-hmm. I would hope so. Yeah, I think that's obviously start of the new league year. There's a lot of decisions that have to be made before that, so that would be helpful. But I would think we would know something before then. Yeah, no, I haven't spoken to him about the social media stuff. I don't know if I would, unless it affected our football team, which it doesn't. So, no, I haven't spoken to him. So. Mm-hmm.
What extent does his situation play into Davante's situation?
Mm-hmm.
Unto themselves or connected to him?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we'd like to know as soon as we can, just because I think it helps for planning and moving forward. But those two situations are completely different. I mean, they're two different players and two different situations, both great in their own right. And we were lucky to have them, and we'll hopefully be able to have them both moving forward. But they're separate. There's been constant communication, and had a good talk with Tay after the season, and then obviously we've been in touch with representatives throughout. So,
Brian, one of the kind of new trends around the league, kind of started before the pandemic, but has continued now, is coaching staff staying away from the pound. Do you value Matt and the staff being here, or would you wish they'd stay at home?
No, value them very much with what they do for us. There's different things that they do here that are very important to our process. I think it's very important to them as what we ask them to do from an evaluation perspective. So I just think, the opportunity for those guys to sit down with players, even though sometimes it's a short amount of time, but I think it's really important for them to get a feel for how they might fit in our locker room, how might they learn, and that's very valuable as we're making our decisions. Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's how you gain your advantage, right? I think obviously our league is set up for parity, and when you can find players in the third day of the draft that produce for you at that level that those guys have produced for us, that impacts your team greatly. Yeah. Yeah, I think obviously his success in this league speaks for itself. He's done it for a long time in this league. But I just again, I've known Rich for a long time. To see it in association with my father, coaching in college. But he's coached offense, he's coached defense, he's coached special teams in this league for a long time. So that experience to me is invaluable. And he's the first guy we've had in that role for a while that has had as much success as he's had. So.
Brian, how much do the future salary caps matter to you as far as 2024, say, or you such a, I don't want to say win now, but you're so close to winning now? Is that really the priority?
It all matters. I think we kind of look at it in a 3-year window. But if I said it didn't matter, Russ might come up across the table and grab my throat. But no, it matters greatly. I do think we recognize what kind of football team we have and the opportunities in front of us. But I think there's you're always kind of making sure that you can field a competitive team year in and year out, and you got to be mindful of what's what we're doing in the future. Even though sometimes right now feels like all that matters, it's you always have to keep that in mind.
Have you gotten any clarity or any idea from the league about what the cap might be in 23 and 24? Do you have any ideas?
No, I think we obviously. We feel good about it moving forward, but again, there's things like pandemics that hit you, and you just never know. Those were great lessons for all of us because I think we were kind of living a certain way, with expectations, and when that hit, certainly had to change our way of thinking. It's changed the way we've done business and contracts and how we've managed our team. So, I think we feel good about it, but there's always unexpected things. I think it'd be nice to get back to a time where we have a little bit more flexibility during the season, But I do think that it's like anything, as you grow and you're kind of forced to go through different things, maybe you can look at things differently. But it'd be very nice to get back to where we had more flexibility, which we did not have a lot of this past year.
De'Vondre Campbell really did a nice job for you guys. Comes in, won you the All-Pro season. I don't think anybody could want any more out of him. Where do you stand now going forward with him as you guys face a cap situation, but also you have players you brought in beyond expectations?
Yeah, De'Vondre did such a wonderful job for us this past year. To come into a new football team at that spot, middle linebacker, and really just kind of take our defense to a new level along with the group. It was just what a great, he's just a good human being and a really good football player, and we'd really like to have him back. He's been a productive player in this league since the day he got into the league. His numbers are off the charts, and he doesn't miss time. So, we certainly like to have him back.
How does he go with the order of operations? Is that like, from the scheme, those guys are, you got to get the stuff done with Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams first.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's obviously we're planning for a lot of different scenarios, but certainly once we kind of get the situation with Aaron figured out, then everything can kind of follow. So that's kind of where we're at.
Ryan, Rasul Douglas was somebody who said he wanted to be back in Green Bay as long as they'll have me. Is he somebody you want back, and is he somebody you think you can bring back?
Yeah, Rasul is another great addition to our 2021 team, and we'd love to have Rasul back. He's been in this league for a little while and had some success, but came in what he did for us this year, specifically when we had some injuries to Jair and stuff. I mean, it just really solidified our football team, especially on defense moving forward. Obviously, the big plays that he had, the big splash plays, but he did stuff on us on teams. He did stuff in the run game that maybe don't make the headlines, but we'd love to have Rasul back. Yeah, you can't predict injuries, and so I don't really think there's anything we could have done differently. But it was tough. It would have been nice to have him out there the whole time because our defense was playing at a very high level. But what Zadarius can bring, is certainly something we missed at times. Really proud of Rashawn and Jonathan Garvin and Preston and those guys the way they picked up the slack. But Zadarius is a really really good player. But as we move forward, we'll kind of work through that. It's really no different than every year because as you get into this time, there's just a lot of unknowns. You always have free agents you're trying to bring back. You don't know how that's going to go. And you got to kind of have, plan B, plan C, and those things. So it's really no different. It garners a lot of attention because of the player, and his status, but really no different.
Ryan, you've obviously made a lot of moves with the Capitals, with Jones and all the restructuring you've done. Do you have a lot more moves to make, or can you get to where you need to be with just
No, we have a few moves to make. I don't think it's not drastic or anything. We've done the stuff that I don't want to say was easy, but the stuff that we kind of knew we were going to go about right away. And then I think as we move forward, I think I talked to you guys a little bit, last week. We'd like to do things kind of as we go more so. And these ones were kind of like, the ones that we knew were easy to do, so we got them out of the way. And now we'll just kind of, as we go and as things kind of fall, we'll make those moves.
We got time for 2 more, guys.
Not at all, Tom. Not at all. Not a single person.
Brian, you were asked about Zadarius. How about Preston? Where are you at with Preston? And then how do you kind of weigh a guy who had one really good year, one so-so year, and then another one?
Yeah, I think, Bill, when you look at that, you think you're looking at some stats. But if you really look at Preston, he's pretty consistent throughout his career. I think he's missed like one game, and that was the one he missed this year. He shows up, and he's been a playmaker, throughout his career. I know the sack numbers have kind of gone up and down, but if you really look at how he's played, and specifically because he's so versatile and what we've asked him to do differently at different times, and certainly when he was in his past, they've asked him to do different things. So he's a rock solid player. He's very unique with his versatility, which is obviously something you guys know we like quite a bit, and we would certainly love to keep Preston around. Yeah, I think the next step for Jordan is just to play. He needs to play. He needs to get those preseason reps as much as he can. I thought last spring when Aaron was absent and he got all the 1 reps, he took a lot of growth, and he just needs to continue to do that. So, yeah, we're excited for his development. But until these guys play, especially at that position, but really any position, until you get in real live games and get that experience, I think it's tough to develop.